into your Cross One theme, a first of its kind NIL deal was announced today. Ole Miss quarterback Jaxson Dart has signed an NIL deal with Nicholas Ayer, making NIL history. The Ole Miss quarterback inked an endorsement deal with Nicholas Ayer, making it the first partnership of its kind facilitated by his sports managing marketing company and his agent, I suppose. The deal calls for Dart to have hours on Nicholas Ayer's fleet of private jets for travel, training, and philanthropy. Okay. It is good to be a starting quarterback in the SEC.
He's got a couple
philanthropy.
More. Yeah, a couple more coming, too. I'd be willing to bet that one of those flights is used to take the wide receivers out to California again, like they did last summer. But aside from...
How charitable.
Yeah, exactly. You write that off. But what makes this interesting, at least to me, aside from the fact that you've got college football players signing endorsement deals with private jet companies, imagine saying that phrase out loud 10 years ago. But all the talk when NIL became a thing, you guys remember this, was only the big programs are going to have success. Only the big programs. Everything is going to center around these few programs, and everybody else is going to suffer. They weren't talking about Ole Miss when they were talking about those programs that's going to thrive in that era or have these kind of opportunities. It was Ohio State, Southern Cal, Alabama. Oh, these programs in the big cities, they're going to get all this money, and the players are so marketable. Georgia Tech's going to become a force because they're in Atlanta. No, not really. This says that you can play at Ole Miss and have marketable value and unique deals like free private jet flights.
I don't know how many hours are in the deal. I don't know if it's if he's got 10 hours or 20 hours or 30 hours or what it is. We just saw in Steve Sarkisian's new contract, he gets 20 hours of private jet use. And
was that a month?
No.
A year?
Yeah, a year. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're flying on a private jet, and I'm assuming that they're not counting like deadhead time. I mean, you fly from Austin to Vail, and it takes an hour and 45 minutes. And we know that college football coaches don't necessarily have that much. I mean, Austin to the Bahamas would be at most a 2.5-hour flight. Yeah. So it gives him the ability to go on 3, 4, 5 vacation trips without it costing him anything in terms of travel. So again, I don't know how much this deal is with Jaxson Dart and what an hourly rate is with a private jet company varies based on the type of aircraft you're flying on. If you're on one of the smaller jets within a given company's fleet, you're probably in the $6,000 to $7,000 an hour range. If you're on a bigger jet, if you're flying on a G650, a Gulfstream G650, you're probably closer to $20,000 an hour. So you can do the math and, figure out, what the value of this deal is. I mean, if he's got 20 hours on a smallish size jet at $8,000 an hour retail, it's between $150,000 and $200,000 sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
And again, I have no idea how many.
You said it best then. It's good to be Jaxson Dart.
It's good to be him. But it's something that Lane Kiffin can point to moving forward when he's recruiting quarterbacks. And you can come to Ole Miss and have that if you play quarterback here. And that's not what people thought you'd be able to say when this started.
But you know what? Different than some of these deals that we've seen or heard about, Jaxson Dart's earned it. Right? He's performed on the field in the last 2 seasons. He is the face of the Ole Miss football program. He's going to be a preseason All-SEC type quarterback. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be first team, second team, third team, whatever. What would your guess be?
He'll get some first team votes. He'll get some first team votes, but yeah, probably be third team behind Beck and Ewers.
Possibly second. Possibly people might give him the nod over Beck, but
Milroe.
Anybody voting for Milroe is
Well, I wouldn't go that far. He could have a good year, but I think the last image you have of Milroe, the way he played in that playoff game, hurts his ability to be preseason All-SEC.
I guess the point, though, that I'm making is he's going to be a third-year starter at a program that is predicted to be in contention for the playoff, as opposed to, and I'm not picking on the young man, good for him, Nico Iamaleava, who reportedly got a massive deal coming out of high school. It was this is what it's going to take for us to get him, as opposed to this is what he has earned. Jaxson Dart in his first year at Ole Miss, NIL was good to him. Last year, NIL was very good to him. And by the way, I'm just using it as an acronym. There are people that are all up in arms about, is it NIL? Is it pay for play? I don't care what you call it. We all know what it is. It's all the same thing.
Yeah. There's another thing to consider here, too, in that, and don't clip this, Borky, but Ole Miss is a hot brand right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ole Miss has this rep, the party and the sip thing. We've talked about that. It's taken off. And so if you're a company, that's a branding idea that you want to be with. Hey, okay, you can have a good time. Yeah, we want to be a part of that. So, yeah, it's all kind of coming together there for Jaxson Dart to get a deal like this.
I want the record to show that Haydad said it's taking off when talking about a airline deal with a football player.
Well played.
I did.
Well played.
But yeah, this is the true NIL. That this is an actual endorsement deal that is earned by somebody that's actually marketable. I mean, he's got a lot of things going for him. He's a good, tough player, sharp kid, all that stuff. Like he's an actual marketable college athlete that has real marketable value.
With him either.
And
off the field with him either.
Right. And I hope that the philanthropy thing there is not a throwaway line.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool would it be to see Jaxson Dart jump on a plane in Oxford, take a 30-minute flight to Jackson? Obviously, you have a social media team that's doing whatever they do, and he jumps in a car and he goes and he spends 2 hours at Batson Children's Hospital. And he passes out, teddy bears or signed footballs or gives away jerseys and visits with kids that are in the hospital there. And then he jumps back on the plane, gets back to Oxford, and doesn't miss a second of practice. I mean, that's like brand activation if you're talking about something along that. And your whole travel, training, and philanthropy is not a throwaway line in a press release. It's something that you've activated.
There you go. Oh, God. Oh, feeling terrible.